All right, what's up, YouTubers? Okay, so I just found something out about Trigon in his true form, okay, versus the entire Stephen monsters all in the Stephen King universe. Okay, so I really do apologize for this, but I'm just gonna pretty much make this for all the butthurt fans of the Stephen King universe. So I'm gonna stick with the highball. Okay. So Pennywise lives at the edge of darkness and infinity, right? So and it doesn't stop. It's boundless. It's bottomless. Okay. So he basically lives on infinity times infinity times infinity times infinity times infinity, right? So they even, according to Stephen King's books and statements, one of the characters looked into the eyes of Pennywise and seen infinity uh, herself, and it was pretty amazing. Pretty amazing that this guy is this powerful. But um, so he sits at the edge of infinity times infinity, and it never stops. So what I just figured out about Trigon taking on the entire Stephen King universe of monsters. Well, first of all, let's go into details. Let's understand how Trigon became. He actually became of the dark thoughts, right? He actually was created of the dark thoughts of the entire world, right? Of pretty much Azarath, and because he was created, he pretty much, came from all the evil. Like, literally, if you really want to put this together, Trigon came out of a nothingness, okay? Even though evil and darkness gave him a form, Trigon literally came from nothingness, dude. Okay? Trigon has literally came from nothingness. And how can we define nothingness into infinity? Well, nothingness is just nothing. This explains why, like, nothingness to infinity, infinite keeps going. If it's nothing, then it's nothing. It's blank. And because he was formed, he took the form of darkness and evil, right? Coming from nothingness is really pushes Trigon beyond the whole concept of evil and darkness, because why? He came from nothingness. Like, he basically came out of a nothingness. He came from nowhere. And this explains why he is an interdimensional demon, bro. This explains why he has the type of power he does. Because, first of all, let's understand this. Azarath don't have powerful witches, right? They don't have powerful people. Well, at least according to the DC comics. Like, they have very powerful hexes, magic, all that other stuff, blah, blah, blah. Um, but there's not one of Raven's or her people or her kind that I basically saw, you know, pretty much balance an entire solar system or balance an entire universe. Uh, but unlike Trigon, he came from nothingness and literally conquered universes, destroyed universes, and took all seven of those universes, well, the entire macroverse, and put it in hell and sat on top of it. And actually, he got so bored, he said that he was going to offer of his rulership of those universes he conquered. He, said that he was going to give it to Raven to watch over, because he's that powerful. Okay. So I don't want to miss my point. So he came out of a nothingness, right? And compared to anybody in Azarath, do not scale to that power that Trigon has. So Trigon came from a nothingness, dude. Okay? A nothingness. And coming from a nothingness basically shows you the scale of power he reached to, conquering galaxies, conquering solar system, conquering universe. basically showed you the darkness and the dark thoughts and all of the evil that was throughout that universe. He was absorbing and becoming that power, plus using the power he was already born with. So in this case, like as I said in the beginning, Trigon, in actuality, his power is beyond the concept of darkness and evil, because Trigon came from nowhere, dude. This guy came from nowhere. Nobody really honestly knows where Pennywise come from, but after, skipping in on the Song of Susanna, novel written by Stephen King, by the way, kind of claims that Pennywise come from the invisible world that is beneath the Dark Tower. Okay, that's on a beach. That's pretty much on a beach. The beach sand, um, the beach sand that all the monsters left. You know, because each beam in the Dark Tower, or if I might be saying it right, each beam represent each monster, and under those beams, you know, uh, there's Pennywise, okay, and like literally. So if you look at it like this, and I'm also going to reconfirm the stuff about Gan. So Gan is pretty much the god of the Stephen King universe, right? Pennywise was able to survive all of his attacks because, well, it was almost like just gonna give it a low ball. It was almost like, Gan barely tried to even hit him. Gan barely even tried to even touch him. You know, stuff like that. Just barely even tried to hit him or attack him. And he was able to survive merely those attacks. But if he probably continued hitting him, he probably would have took out Pennywise. But anyways, the main point is Trigon. So the thing is, Trigon came from a nothingness, and this nothingness was from darkness and evil. Well, actually, darkness and evil gave him an actual form. This is explained why. This also explains why he was able to do that with the heart of darkness. So I'm just telling you, if Trigon were to go in outer space, right, he could literally, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he was talking about conquering worlds, right? So if you look at the amount of infinite, right, infinite universes, like the beach sand, Trigon will literally conquer that. If there's darkness in any one of them, okay, the point of beating Trigon is not having dark thoughts. Okay, this is the terror part about Trigon. If you have darkness, we all know that Pennywise is beyond evil. I'm not saying that Pennywise is evil. I'm not saying this. Pennywise can consume reality. He can consume evil. He can literally consume emotions, imaginations, dark thoughts, right? The heart of darkness can consume darkness and evil, right? And it basically erases it from existence. But going to Trigon, Trigon was able to absorb all of that evil out of the heart of darkness, dude. And when he freaking goes to Pennywise, he's going to be able to absorb all of that darkness and evil he consumed and become the power Pennywise is, plus with the power he already has. So he's going to be above doggone Pennywise. He's going to stump the Crimson King. He's going to stump freaking Gan. Once he figure out that Gan is the god of the whole Stephen King universe, it's on, bro. And if Gan has any dark thoughts, well, actually, according to the Stephen King himself, he said that Gan was the one that takes part in the chaos, guys. The chaos. 9/11. He takes part in the infinite realities, the destructions in it, the chaos in it, the evil in it. So that basically shows you that Gan is above evil because he creates this stuff. right? He actually create darkness at his fingertips. Now with Trigon coming from nothingness, Trigon literally comes from a nothingness. Evil and darkness just gave him a form. Evil and darkness just gave the guy a form, bro. Okay? He literally gave this guy a form. So giving him a form basically shows you that that coming from a nothingness shows you how powerful, what scale he basically goes to. And literally, because of all of what he done in the whole DC universe, he is literally beyond the scale of darkness and evil. He is beyond that whole concept. Like, he is beyond the concept of the author even writing and creating Trigon and possibly even giving him a story because of that capability. And listen here, guys, if Trigon was not able to do this with other darkness and other evil, you see what I'm saying? If he wasn't able to do that, then yeah, Pennywise and anybody weaker than Pennywise would stomp Trigon. But they wouldn't because he absorbs darkness and evil. Trigon is the embodiment of darkness and evil. So that basically means if there's darkness, if there is any form of evil in your dimension, Trigon will absorb it, bro. And he will become the power, he will become the scale it is, plus the power he already has. For the sake of the conversation, let's just say Gan, we already know Gan is way beyond evil, okay? He is the concept of himself, and being the concept of himself is the Stephen King universe. Without Gan, the Stephen King universe ceased to exist. So he is the foundation and the concept of the entire universe, right? Of the entire Stephen King universe. Now, if anywhere in the Stephen King universe, right, uh, have darkness, Trigon will absorb it. Okay, not because he's evil, because he is literally the embodiment. So you may wonder, Mr. Evaluator, what can Gan actually do to what can he actually do to Pennywise? Like what Gan could do to Trigon? My bad. Okay, so understand this. Gan actually created evil. Okay, he is the balance of the entire Stephen King universe, and because he's beyond evil, there's no darkness in him. Okay, but because of Trigon, because he is able to take whatever is in him, right, and create darkness within itself, Trigon could scale to that power level. That means because Gan has darkness in him, Trigon can scale to that layer of power. Because according to the DC Comics, it also states the evil Trigon consumes whatever layer it is, that's the layer he becomes. And it doesn't mean the heart of darkness was not evil. Just to let you guys know, the heart of darkness was not evil. It ate evil. Understand this. The heart of darkness, I'm going to repeat myself. The heart of darkness was not evil. Again, the heart of darkness was not evil. The heart of darkness was not evil. It was a thing that consumed evil and erased evil from existence. Gan is beyond evil, right? Trigon was able to absorb the evil that was erased from existence. Okay? Bring it back. Well, actually, bring back the evil that was erased from existence in the heart of darkness and absorb the evil within it and took it all out of the heart of darkness, because that tells you that Trigon is his own evil, and being his own evil is beyond the concept of the author. in a sense, he's beyond the concept of the author. The guy is OP. The reason why we basically see things happen to him or Bizarro beating him, I did that in an earlier video. That was a foul. There's a balance throughout the DC universe. Okay, there could be no more chaos than there's good, and there could be no more order than there's chaos. It all has to have a balance. Chaos and order balance the entire DC universe. If anything goes unbalanced, then DC will cease to exist. That's the whole plane. This is the whole six planes of reality of the entire DC universe. This is why there's six planes of reality. You got three realities that are good and three realities that are full of chaos. All of these realities are balanced with chaos and order. So if any one of them go unbalanced, another plane of reality is destroyed and another one is created by DC itself. DC itself. This is what pretty much puts everybody with limitations within the DC universe. The presence himself or any of the higher beings can't just come in the DC universe and swipe out all the good and create nothing but evil. That alone will be swiped away from the existence of DC and balanced, because chaos and order is outside of the creation of DC. It's outside the whole concept of DC, and it's its foundation, and it balances it. So back to freaking Trigon, a sense Gan can create darkness, right? Any form, because he is the God in the Stephen King universe. The darkness that he creates, Trigon actually absorbs. And in fact, because since he is beyond evil, right? Let's just say evil does not exist within Gan. Trigon will literally create darkness within well, yeah, Trigon would literally create darkness within Gan. I mean, you may wonder, Mr. Evaluator, that can't happen. You can't like put nothing in nobody if they're the beginning and they're the author. Well, you gotta understand, like, Gan created the entire one. Okay, he created the entire Stephen King universe, right? Trigon, and like I told you, the only way to literally beat Trigon is if you don't have any form of darkness, right? Or you don't have or create any form of darkness. So even though that he's above it, if you actually create darkness, that means that that power that allows you to create darkness because you are a god basically tells you that there has to be some form of darkness in you, but it is beyond the comprehension of but that is beyond the comprehension of the reality of how we define darkness. It's darkness, but it's beyond the comprehension of how we define darkness. Okay? And because of since that it's darkness, Trigon can scale beyond that comprehension because he is the embodiment of evil and darkness. Wherever there's darkness, okay? Wherever there's darkness, Trigon can literally scale to, bro. He can literally scale to. So you may wonder, Mr. Evaluator, how can Trigon beat Gan? Trigon not Trigon. Gan cannot be Trigon, right? Because since he spawned the entire universe at his navel, right? At the very tip of his finger, right? The entire universe, okay? Because he's bigger than big and all this other stuff. He spun the entire navel at his universe. He basically puts the chaos, right, in the entire Stephen King's universe. Okay, so that means being a god in the Stephen King universe, you know what darkness is, and you put that darkness in this reality because you are the god of that universe, right? So again, there has to be a form of darkness that resides in him, in Gan, which basically means that darkness being beyond the comprehension of 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 the infinite layers of reality in the Stephen King universe basically means this darkness creates. This darkness pretty much creates reality and balances reality. Okay? Well, not balance. Well, yeah, it balances reality. This darkness balances reality. Again, whatever layer or scale of darkness is, Trigon will absorb it and become the scale he is on top of the power he already has. And in that case, he will stomp Gan. Not only having all of his abilities, he's not going to have Gan's abilities. His abilities is going to be amplified to that scale of power, bro, of the evil he absorbed. So the only way Gan and anybody in the whole Stephen King universe can beat Trigon, anybody, is that they have to not reside in darkness, bro. There can't be no form of darkness in you or in the universe. Because if there is, you won't be able to beat Trigon. And this is basically what I want to say, that in actuality, because there's darkness that scales beyond comprehension, beyond comprehension of the infinite layers of reality. Like it's just because that darkness actually creates reality, creates the entire Stephen King universe, the chi, the chakra, whatever they said, the chakra that pretty much the energy that gives Stephen King to write the actual stories. And whenever he don't write nothing against the fight Pennywise, Pennywise attacks him. That's pretty much a joke to Trigon, because Trigon at any given moment could kill his own author. He could step outside the comic book. Well, Mr. Evaluator, why hasn't he ever done it? Why? Because the entire DC universe is balanced within the DC comics, chaos and order. Even the top, okay, look at this. Even the top characters, the strongest and most OP people like ever throughout the whole DC universe, can't leave the comic book. Okay? The only person that left the comic book, according to DC Comics, was pretty much freaking Mr. Mixie. And that's right after Doomsday so-called murdered him. Right after he killed him, right after he killed Mixie woke up in a different reality, and he pretty much left the comics, and he didn't know where he was. So, in actuality, bro, this gets a lot deeper. When he came back to life, or however, he woke up and was like, "Oh, give me my pants." So, in actuality, bro, like Trigon is literally capable of any and everything. Power manipulation. No, not power manipulation. He could literally replicate everything Pennywise does. Everything Pennywise does and can do. He could replicate anything that Maturin does and do. He can do everything Gan does and do. If they have any layers of darkness, if there's darkness or evil anywhere, we know they are beyond evil. I said that too many times. Beyond evil. Okay? And I'm not saying they're not evil, because if you're beyond that concept, then you are not that concept. You are beyond the concept. Pennywise isn't evil. The heart of darkness isn't evil. I will repeat again. The heart of darkness was not evil. The heart of darkness was not evil. So therefore, it was beyond evil. It was beyond evil and darkness. It was beyond evil and darkness because it consumed and ate evil and erased it from existence. But Trigon was able to absorb the darkness and evil, bring it back to existence, and absorb the power and become the power it is. And become the power the heart of darkness consumed. On top of the power what he already had. This explains why he was able to basically cross over multiverses, bro. Dude, the crap you guys are talking about. Trigon, excuse language, Trigon is OP. There is no way in a literal sense, anybody could beat Trigon without light, without any form of light. If you have any dark thoughts, I mean, Trigon versus the Full Metal Alchemist, the truth guy, no. That's not gonna happen. Now, the truth is the high of everything, right? He's pretty much everything, right? So being everything means he's everything. So he'll literally be Trigon times Trigon times Trigon times Trigon. You want to know how Trigon will beat him? Simple. Trigon can just merge with himself infinitely. And when he does that more and more and more and more, sooner or later, he will be the god of the entire. He will, sooner or later, he will be the god of the entire Full Metal Alchemist universe. Clearly. Clearly. So by going to the Stephen King universe, right, and him actually having the power to literally go there, like, and destroy, like, this is amazing. Like if he goes through infinite layers of darkness times infinity, soon enough, absorbing all of that darkness at an infinite amount of power, infinitely, sure enough, he becomes the god of the Stephen King universe. Like, if it was not for this capability, Trigon having this capability, right? He does not, he would not beat anybody. He would not beat anybody. That means of him not having that capability, though being immortal and having infinite power, you know, like, there are some people in the entire universe that will beat him, bro. The whole DC universe will beat him, bro. Like, like I said, anime logic versus real world logic. When you go in a debate, you do not use real world logic in a debate, because what you're doing is you're lowballing. No, you're not lowballing. You're wanking the daylights out of the characters. That means if you're going to use real world logic, you're saying that Santama can punch anybody that is beneath his level with one punch. So if you apply the way he does that in his universe versus the guy in the Legend of Zelda, certain arrows that use the silver arrows and a certain sword can't kill him. That means at Santama's Blitz, he could just hit this guy one time, right? Even though him being immortal and he can't be killed, Goku can pretty much absorb his power as well. Like, it's a lot to do and talk about. I'm gonna be putting up an hour video explaining how anime logic works. But people that use real world logic in the versus battles, they don't know what they're talking about, and they are not true fans. Okay, they don't even know what it possibly even means to be a fan. But if you guys have any questions or comments or likes, uh, hit me up, man. Like I said, I'm not here for no likes. I'm not here for no subscriptions or anything. I want people to really understand what it means and how to really truly scale your anime characters, bro. How to actually use them in a verse battles. So for those of you who don't know, like on my channel, man, comment below if you want to know who will actually win in the fight. All right. Peace, guys.